More than a dozen New York Waterway ferries remain out of service this noon after failing safety inspections by the Coast Guard.
That means delayed trips for commuters. CBS 2's Jenna DeAngelis has more from Weehawken in New Jersey.
Usually we're not waiting inside the building, we're waiting outside.
An unusual morning rush for commuters in Weehawken, waiting in a long line for the ferry, which stretched from the dock where the boat pulls up, through the inside of the building, all the way to the front doors.
It's usually pretty quick, it's 10 minutes and you're on the boat.
But today, the ferry from Port Imperial to Midtown is running every 20 minutes because New York Waterway has fewer boats on the water. The Coast Guard suspended 23 of the company's 32 vessels last week after routine inspections found them operationally unfit.
It's a little bit of an alarming rate, percentage of their boats that are not up to standard. Maybe they should have more frequent inspections.
I think it's necessary. I mean, the last thing you want is any kind of atrocity happening in the rivers.
Well, I've always had a good experience. I've been riding for over 20 years.
According to the Coast Guard, inspectors found issues with fire safety and other vital emergency systems. We're told they weren't immediate life-threatening dangers to passengers, but enough to warrant suspension of service. A New York Waterway spokesperson wouldn't give more details, instead referring us to the Coast Guard, and said this.
We have interior protocol that may have not been followed properly, so we're going to be looking into that as well. So believe me, this will never happen again.
By Sunday afternoon, 8 of the affected ferries were back in service. Some we spoke to weren't worried so much about issues here, but the ripple effect once they reached the city.
And the shuttle lines, I'm sure, are going to be much longer. The shuttles are going to be a little more packed.
A New York Waterway spokesperson says they'll have even more boats on the water by the evening commute and expect everything to be back to normal by tomorrow morning. In Weehawken, New Jersey, Jenna DeAngelis, CBS 2 News.
New York Waterway says 15 ferries remain out of operation right now. Some of the ferries may be back on the water after inspections later this afternoon. In the meantime, several routes are on modified service, so make sure you check your schedule.